Lucky number 11.
I know. Well, 11's a master number if you read some numerology and Eastern philosophy. So 9/11, right?
Huh.
Something powerful is always on 11. So let's
Never heard of that. Numerology, astrology. I never really
Jesus died at 33.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. 11, 33, 55.
Yeah.
77, 99.
Multiples of 11.
Are all master numbers.
I don't know that.
Yeah. It's all bullshit. But anyway.
Probably.
It's good to talk about. Well, listen, since I've been knee deep in Thanksgiving family stuff, I didn't get to watch anything, so I'm going to let you tell us what happened last week. And
Bisping dead. He died.
He died?
Kelvin killed him.
He killed him?
Yeah.
All right. When is his funeral?
I think it happened.
It happened.
Unfortunately. And I think he's going to come back from the dead to fight in England for one last time.
That'll probably be his last fight.
Yeah, that'll probably. I wonder who they're going to give him. Because I feel like he's done so much for the UFC, they kind of owe him. But are they really going to give him some easy fight for him to win in England? They have to give him at least a tough fight.
He's got a great career in commentating.
Yeah,
and that Fox Network show.
He's never done commentary for cage side.
No, I mean he's on the. I forgot the name.
UFC Tonight or whatever it's called.
Exactly.
I know the pre-show, but he would also do pretty good in commentary. I think it would be interesting.
He would be great at anything. Yeah, I mean he really has a silver tongue. And
he got put out so bad though. In the slow mo, you see his face morph. Kelvin hit him clean. Kelvin's boxing is really good. It's improving.
Kelvin is amazing, and he's been on a tear ever since the Ultimate Fighter. He almost beat Weidman.
Yeah, and it's funny how this win kind of has everyone forgetting about that Weidman fight. I saw a poll on Twitter. I think Helwani put it up. Who should fight Whitaker if GSP doesn't fight him?
Right.
And it was Rockhold, Weidman, and Kelvin Gastelum.
Right.
Rockhold was number 1, Kelvin was number 2, and Weidman was number 3 with 10% of the votes.
Wow.
So people just totally forget about that. It's what have you done lately? I feel like Weidman's stock unfortunately kind of fell off. And Kelvin is still this young guy who has some.
Well, Weidman's young too. He just had some bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not a believer in luck, but yes, he had. You never know what's going on in his family.
Exactly.
You never know what's happening. Some people talk about it and some people don't. What did he go through? Maybe climbing that mountain to get back and beat a guy like Gastelum was exactly what he needed.
Yeah, he doesn't have a fight lined up, but he could come back.
Yeah, I mean, he dug in deep. He had to find himself in that last fight. We're not talking about Weidman right now, but what I want to talk about is Bisping. Was it a fluke? Was his whole...
Oh, the title run?
Yeah.
I don't think it was a fluke. I think it was more Rockhold fucking up. I think Rockhold just took him lightly. So it wasn't like Bisping landing a lucky punch. It was Rockhold giving him that punch because he had his hands down,
Right.
It's the same thing with Silva and Weidman, even way more with Silva, hands down, playing his game. But the thing is, Silva's done that before and he's got away with it. Rockhold is he got the belt and he all of a sudden thinks he's like Jesus, The way he's walking out, he thinks he's like Conor. The way he's talking, and then he thinks he could fight a certain different way. And then he's put out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he beat some guys that were over the hill.
Yeah.
Almost
got finished by Dan Henderson twice.
Right. Dan Henderson was 187 years old.
Right? And he knocked him down twice on crutches.
Speaking about 187 years old, I believe, I think they're filming, what do you call it? Coming to America 2. Do you remember that? Eddie
remember
Murphy?
the movie, yeah. I didn't know they were remaking it.
That's where I get that from. It's my favorite. It's my favorite comedy of all time.
Okay.
Coming to America.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. And the other dude, Arsenio.
Yeah,
What's his name?
Arsenio
Yeah.
was in it too. Yeah, and you know what? You don't even know who was better. They were both so good in it. Arsenio played multiple roles in it, and so did
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. They played barbershop guys. They played other guys. Arsenio's what do you call it? Reverend was so funny. I love the Lord.
I didn't see the whole movie. Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy. Which is the one that passed away? I forgot. Charlie Murphy, I think.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
No,
funny
Eddie's
too.
Eddie's the king.
Yeah, he's the way more popular one, but Charlie Murphy did some funny shit too.
That's he got really famous with
Dave Chappelle? Yeah, those are so funny.
Yeah.
The Dave Chappelle like real life stories or something.
Yeah. Charlie was funny. He wasn't like his brother funny.
No.
But he's a character.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? But one of one of the things in the movie is they're in the barbershop and they're always talking, these barbers, they're always talking about fights and things like that. And he's like,
barbershop talk.
and it's always the one white guy who brings up Rocky Marciano.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Greatest of all time.
Yeah, greatest of all time. And they're talking about Joe Louis and then the old man, which is also played by Eddie Murphy, old Jewish man.
Okay.
And he's like, what about the Rocky Marciano? He's like, oh, now you got to bring up Rocky Marciano. Do you know that when Joe Louis fought Rocky Marciano, he was 176 years old?
I wonder who's going to be that guy when like me and Nas are old. Barbershop talk, talking about greatest of all time, like Conor was greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Like, that's funny.
Listen, man, I think if, what a perfect story for Dan Henderson. It would have been
If
to
he won.
beat Bisping and retire with a championship belt.
Legendary.
He won every belt in every organization he ever fought in, except UFC.
Pride, Strikeforce, yeah.
It was the perfect moment, It was perfect, and it just
could've
didn't
happened.
happen.
It was really close too. He could have won the decision. The fight could have been stopped.
Right.
He's a legend. And I think it's funny, his last 10 seconds of MMA fighting is when he did a cartwheel kick or something. Remember how he ended that Bisping fight? He tried doing like a somersault kick.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So that's like his last MMA strike. Who would have thought?
I was so Dan Henderson was one of my favorites, as a fighter.
Yeah.
His style, his demeanor, the way he spoke, the things he said. I don't know if before USADA ever came in, one of his famous, would you say it's a quote or a saying? He was interviewed and he's like, if you're the type of guy who needs steroids to face me or anyone, that shows me how weak you are mentally. And that's exactly why I'll break you.
That sounds like he would say that.
Yeah, and it's so true,
And that gets in the other guy's head, I'm sure.
It gets
It's
in.
like if they were on steroids, it's like that gets them angry, like that he says that and shit.
He's done so much. He's beaten so many people at their prime.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not at their prime, but no one ever thought that Silva would be beaten. Vanderlei,
Yeah.
at Pride, he was killing people. He was like absolutely destroying people.
Yeah, viciously.
And I remember back when I was a Pride fanatic, I used to tell people, as soon as you civilize Silva, he's going to start losing. Because his technique in fighting, not that he didn't have martial arts technique, his technique was being mad. He had to be angry to fight.
Yeah.
That was his technique. Everyone he fought, he pushed, he did something, like at an interview, he always wanted to...
Emotion, like...
Yeah. So once you civilize the guy, give him a lot of money, he's opening up schools, he's got his brand, Wand, remember?
Yeah.
And then he got civilized and that was it.
It goes away.
Then everyone was beating him. So it's not a good way to fight. if you need to be angry to fight, it's not good.
Yeah, some guys are like that today too, I feel.
Yeah, you know, some would say that Conor McGregor's like that, but I don't think so. I think it's part of his game.
Yeah,
Like, he's
I
not
think it's
really
different.
angry.
Yeah, I think the Diaz brothers say like they need to. At least Nick says like I need to hate the guy in order to fight him.
Right.
And then Cody might be that way too, where he needs like to be
He needs to
really
hate
angry.
someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really good, but then it really tells you that they're good guys inside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not a fighter, but you know, when I spar or when I roll, I'm always so like laid back. Like I don't want to hurt anyone ever. But I know that I can't. Like some guys will spar or roll really hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know they can do it all the time. They don't feel bad about it. Some guys just don't like to hurt other people. But when you dislike someone, then you can kind of be yourself.
Yeah, true.
So I
Let go a little bit.
sparring. It's like I don't like to because I don't like to spar because I can't spar unless I'm okay
don't.
with hurting the guy.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I think it's because I'm a good guy, but and I'm thinking that all these guys, you know, they need to have an enemy, otherwise they can't really, you know, take it that extra mile. So some people are okay with sparring, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just my thought. I mean, who knows? What else happened?
I don't know. We got the UFC coming up
Oh, but what happened last week?
and
Other than
that card
the
was
funeral.
like a lot of unknowns. Like Alex Caceres fought, he lost. That was a weird fight. He got rocked like really badly, almost like the TJ Garbrandt fight. So he got dropped really bad at the end of the first round, and he was wobbling back to his stool, worse than TJ was. And I was like, why aren't they stopping this fight? And they let him go on, and then like the referee was like a really bad referee who gets booed when they announce his name because he always makes mistakes. He's like, he works on Australia cards.
Okay.
I forgot his name, but he always gets booed. It's funny. And then other than that,
Is he an American ref or?
I don't
is
think
he
he's an
Australian?
American. I think he is Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah, or England. I'm not sure, but he refs all those cards.
Okay.
So that
It's
was
not
one of
easy
the
to
other
be a
things.
ref.
No.
Sometimes I try to, you know, really think about the ref's job. It's really hard to be a ref. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you got so much to pay attention to. You got so much to do. You know, it's difficult. It's not an easy job, and that's why if there are refs that are known for failing at their job, they should be pulled by the commissions. You know, and re-educated.
Yeah, and work like on amateur cards, get better.
Yeah.
Before they work on a UFC. Even working amateur might be even dangerous because then you're putting them in the hands of like more wild fighters who don't know too much.
Yeah.
So those are more likely to hurt each other. Like, not obviously you're trying to hurt each other in a fight,
Right.
but more likely to like cause permanent damage.
Right.
So I don't know what we do with those refs. I think they just need to get like, they need someone who has experience to like let them know like what you're doing is wrong. You know, gotta get better.
You know, when I teach classes, I put people against each other. You know, mainly with kids. I kind of go one-on-one with them, and everyone else is hanging out, and I'm watching. And you know, you could be watching from one side and see something, and then from the other side not be able to see it. It's a really difficult job.
Yeah.
You know, to ref, and some guys make it look easy, but it's rough. I think that a person needs to understand grappling and striking very well.
And like concussed, like the effects of concussions, like looking
Right.
at their eyes,
Right.
knowing if a guy is out or still in it. You know.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, I remember that. What was it? Big John McCarthy had his own school for refereeing. You know, I actually looked into it once, a long time ago, and you know, like it was pretty intense. The things you had to know. I'm sure it's much more in depth these days than it was back then. But there still was a lot to know, you know? Like, who knows a double armbar if they saw it?
Probably not a lot of refs.
Have you ever seen a double armbar?
Yeah.
No. Yeah,
there's some even like if someone's getting choked out, they're looking at the wrong end.
Yeah. It's now okay. Since we're talking about that, let's talk about combat jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
I'm surprised that no one thought of this earlier.
Yeah, you would think.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because combat sambo, you're actually punching. It's like MMA with a gi.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And they have gloves on too, right?
Yeah,
like
they do.
Pretty big gloves.
Yeah, you can punch, you can kick, you can do a lot of different things. But in combat jiu-jitsu, you can only slap.
Yeah.
Which is limited. It's not MMA. It's not a street fight, but still opens up a big dynamic.
Yeah, and it's entertaining. The guys are actually like they're forced to move and work.
Yeah.
Like if a guy has mount and just starts slapping the shit out of the guy on the bottom.
Yeah.
He starts like panicking, and it's like it's totally different than anything we've ever seen in like jiu-jitsu tournaments.
Yeah.
Fights are getting stopped now.
Yeah.
From TKO.
From slapping. Yeah.
Like the guy can't get out.
Yeah.
And it's funny how the MMA guys, like what's his name, Roca? I forgot his Wagner Roca.
Yeah.
He's used to be a UFC fighter.
Right. Nick Pace is in it.
Yeah. So those guys probably have a little bit more of an edge because they're used to throwing strikes.
Right.
Whereas a jiu-jitsu guy might, because they've never like thrown strikes before in jiu-jitsu tournaments.
Right.
So they're forced to like move. They're not used to having a guy throwing slaps, but those guys are. So that's why they're having a little more success.
Who's the brainchild? Is it Eddie Bravo?
I know he has it. I don't know if he came up with it, but I know he has it in his EBI. And then there's the CJJ.
Right.
That they just had that tournament go on.
Yeah, but Eddie Bravo spoke about it. Is he part of it? I wonder who created this thing. I mean, it's kind of cool. You know? It looks a little funny.
Yeah, it does.
To me. But I get the concept of it. You know what I mean? No one's trying to concuss people. But, you know, now they have a bunch of MMA guys, and now they're getting creative. Yeah. Instead of actually hitting with this part, they're actually hitting
that, which is basically, it's like Bas Rutten used to do that, right?
Exactly. So
it's like, I think there might be a rule with that. Like, if you're throwing a slap like that, it might not be allowed. It needs to actually come around like a hook.
Doesn't matter. You could...
Yeah. But I think there has to be some limit because you could knock someone out if you hit them enough.
There is, but
like
it's,
some
how
downward...
How do you know the person's intention when they're hitting someone?
Exactly.
A lot of guys are using this, you know, and this could be strong. Could be really strong.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, even on the self-defense classes, I'm always telling people, you know, open hand is totally fine. You don't have to punch someone.
It's interesting.
Because you could break your hand pretty easy.
Punching
someone.
And like if you're, let's say if you're in a street situation and you're punching a guy on the ground.
Yeah.
And if you miss and hit the sidewalk or the ground, you got a broken hand for sure.
Technically, if you're fighting with gloves, you're open hand.
Yeah.
Your hand is like this. You know, like it's kind of like this.
It's not forced closed.
Yeah, it's not forced closed. It's kind of like this. So, you know, Muay Thai, you're doing with hands, you know, like...
Yeah.
You're sticking it out. And it's okay. I mean, if you find a nice sweet spot, but if you hit anywhere on the skull, you could break your hand very easily. And, I mean, from childhood having street fights, how many times did I jam a thumb? You know, fingers get messed up during street fights.
Skull is... That's why they argue with no gloves in MMA.
Yeah.
Because they said people would be more, like, economical with their strikes. They would only throw strikes that they're really sure about.
Right.
So it would change the whole game up.
But it would slow down the pace.
It might a little bit.
Yeah, but this kind... with the gloves, you can fight. Because if you're fighting in a street fight, nobody's thinking about if their hand's gonna...
Yeah.
Street
fights are going to end in, like... 30 seconds at most.
Right.
Because they're going to swing until someone gets knocked out. If it lasts more than that, they're going to like get broken up, or
Right.
it's gonna be like, all right, forget this.
Yeah.
Like it's very rare that a street fight is gonna last a minute even, or 40 seconds.
That's what they say. 30 seconds. You're already on the ground in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then in a minute,
It's
you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't go on if you're not trained. You get so tired in a real fight with the adrenaline dump and everything. You know, a trained fighter will go on, no problem.
Yeah, of course, but it's rare that.
And a trained
they're like
fighter
that.
actually won't even need to go on because they'll dominate the fight within the first few, first 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Because they're fine, they know how to move out of the way, they know how to work off of punches, and I mean street fight, it's like they're coming at you with their right hand,
Exactly.
unless he's a lefty. But how many lefties do you find?
And you can find out right away.
Yeah.
By the way they're coming at you.
Yeah, but I mean you're talking about two people who don't know how to fight, who just
They won't even be in a fight.
They'll
just come at you square.
Yeah. What? What you gonna do? What you gonna do here? Oh. Anyway, I think it's the Heron and what are the two brothers that do Henner and Heron, right?
The
They
street
have,
fight.
yeah, they have great
self-defense?
videos. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have great videos, and I totally agree with the things they say. If you walk out of a fight, not hurt, not going to the hospital, not laying in a pool of blood, you won the fight.
That definitely sounds right.
I even take it one step further. You won the fight even if your opponent's not dead.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you stop that fight, let's say you actually do fight, you don't go to the hospital and you don't go to jail and your opponent doesn't go to the hospital, jail, then you both won.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, because there is no winner. You win the fight,
You didn't
hurt
get a
someone,
paycheck, you didn't get anything. It's just like a mental win, I
you
guess.
didn't get a paycheck, and plus, you might be going to jail.
Yeah.
Is it that 15 minutes of satisfaction? It's not really even pure satisfaction unless you're a hateful dude,
Yeah. And you're not really thinking about,
Yeah.
oh, I could get in trouble when you're in that heated moment of wanting to fight someone. Like if someone spits in your face, you're not going to think about going to jail. You're going to just think about rocking
Right.
this guy.
But hindsight, let's say you rocked a guy, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He knocked him out and he's bleeding out and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, remember Razul Mizraev?
Yeah.
He knocked someone out in a street fight and the guy died.
You think, did he fall on like his head or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
He
See,
fought-
that's what you got to worry
He hit
about.
something that was sticking out
That's
with his
crazy.
head.
Yeah.
Like knocking someone out cold is bad. To fall down to the ground
That's
is
the riskiest.
even worse than the knockout punch you gave him.
Yeah. 100%.
Do you see some of these street fights on YouTube and the guy gets knocked out, but the worst part is how his head just jerks back on that floor.
Mm-hmm.
Gravity.
Can't fuck with that.
Yeah, that's the worst part, like cracking a skull.
Hmm.
You could get punched in the jaw and get knocked out, you know what I mean? And yeah, you could. Well, some people do break their jaws. Street fights happens,
Yeah.
but it usually happens because the guy's down and then they kick him in the face.
I've seen that too. Those are fucked up. Like when the guy's obviously out
Yeah,
and then you just keep going. But those people don't even know what they're doing, I think. Like they're
those are
just
some
they're just
evil,
going.
There's some evil dudes.
Yeah.
What about the knockout gang? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
I don't know. I just recently heard about it.
Really?
Yeah,
The game, yeah. I remember that blew up like a few years ago. I
Look
think that was-
at these pieces of shits.
Old people too.
They do it to
they're
old
targeting
people.
old people.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're such cowards.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
They're targeting old people, women.
It's weird.
I hope they target an MMA fighter one day.
That would be funny. And then they just
Like they don't know,
they hurt their hand doing it, and then they get destroyed.
Right, and they don't notice his ears. They're like, oh, let's just do it to this guy, you know? Like, he'll probably even take the punch, even if they kind of like hit him from behind.
Exactly.
He'll take the punch and then just do some ass kicking. But that's cowards. Mm-hmm. Cowards.
You want to talk about the card coming up?
Yeah.
You want to pull it up?
Let's go. Round 2. I love Holloway.
Me too. I loved the first fight. The first fight was one of my favorite fights of the year. Even though it was, I think, 2 rounds.
It was a great fight, but not in the way you think it's a great fight. I think Holloway destroyed Jose Aldo. Yes, Jose Aldo looked good in the beginning of the rounds.
Fast.
He looked really good and seemed like he was kind of, working Holloway with a nice strategy, and that he was going to take that strategy to 5 rounds. Like he wasn't necessarily looking to knock him out. But actually it was reverse. It was Holloway tiring him out, understanding what his game plan was, and then started picking him up, picking him apart. 3rd round. You saw how Holloway just looked at the end? Yeah. He was just like really doing a number on. Almost made him look like they weren't in the same division.
When he was on top of him and just staying on top, taking his back
everywhere,
rear naked chokes
everywhere.
Yeah, he had him rocked badly, and it was right because he was super confident in the fight when he had his hands up, and he was kind of like he even slapped Aldo. I think he did the Stockton slap. So that's stuff that no one's ever done that to Aldo in a fight. So I'm sure it kind of fucked with him. And it came out of nowhere, too, because Holloway is a disrespectful guy, and then all of a sudden he's slapping you, putting his hands up in Brazil.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of confidence. I think he could be like a big star, Holloway.
I think so, too.
They put him out there a little more.
I think so, too.
And the thing about him that's so crazy is he beat so many people to get the title.
Yeah.
He's gonna just have rematches.
And he's the only guy that didn't get knocked out by
Conor
and Nate Diaz, but I'm talking weight class, normal weight class. I think Nate Diaz was too big for Conor at 170.
To knock out, and he has the iron chin.
Yeah,
Conor could probably knock out some 170, but Nate is like a different.
Do you remember the abuse he took from Thompson?
Yeah, it took that to put him out.
But how many of those did he take before he got knocked out? So yes, he does have an iron chin. He was getting beat up badly by Thompson. I'm talking, he took so many knockout punches and just didn't go down.
And was never out fully. He was obvious. It was a good stoppage, but he was still. It's crazy that he was still kind of in it.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, Conor's. You got to give it to him, man. I mean, he still put him down a few times.
Yeah, 30 times.
Even in the fight that he lost, he put him down. Mm-hmm. He can hit you.
Did he drop him in the first fight? I don't know.
Yeah.
Forgot.
I think I remember him drop.
But this fight...
Listen. Aldo, I think he's a good guy, and I wish him all the best. I just think his time is over, Not Conor McGregor, but he put 145 on the map. Conor McGregor took over afterwards, ran with it. But I think Jose Aldo put 145 on the map.
Yeah, for sure, as the first champion.
Not only as a first champion.
You don't have to be like a big star or like a pay-per-view to put a division on the map. Like at the end of the day, he's still number 1 all-time featherweight.
It's a perfect weight class. You could be as fast as the 135ers and as powerful as the 155ers. Mm-hmm. It's a great weight class.
Yeah.
And I think everyone owes Aldo that, And I know Conor thinks that he put 145 on the map, but I have to say it was Jose Aldo. Conor just took it to the next level. All right. Overeem and Ngannou.
Well, who do you think wins this fight?
Like I said,
Holloway?
I think it's over for him.
You think he's going to finish him?
Holloway's going to win again.
It's going to be interesting, really. Because I I think Aldo on short notice is better for him actually than having a long camp. And he's been training boxing, but I do think Holloway is going to pull it out. He's looking too good. And it's interesting because so many guys recently are losing their first title defense. Like, you see it a lot. Like, people are winning the title, and then they look totally different in their first defense.
Right.
So we're going to see Holloway. But he seems
look at Jose Aldo's record, 26-3.
Yeah.
You know, the guy basically... That's an awesome record.
It's definitely.
You know, like even myself, I'm kind of like looking at him and going, oh, he's done. Oh, he's over. But look at that record. Anyone would love to have a record like that, 26-3.
And one was Connor and one was him, Holloway.
Yeah.
So that's a ridiculous record. So
who's the third loss?
It probably was like one of his first few fights, I would imagine.
So what a great record he's got. You know, we kind of like imagining him as like, oh, he's done, he's over the hill, but he just really had 2 losses.
Yeah.
It's just fresh in our minds. That's the thing. I give it to Holloway. You?
I think Holloway, and I think it might go to distance this time.
Think so?
Yeah.
No, I think Holloway's gonna actually. He's not a stupid fighter. So it's not like Holloway's coming in with the same game plan that he had last time. Mm-hmm. He's going to adjust to what Jose Aldo is going to bring. That's his thing.
Because he knows now. He feels it.
He can brawl. He can fight. He can jits.
He's got cardio for days.
Yeah.
Never seen him tired.
Awesome. Holloway's awesome. He looked like this skinny, like, street kid. Mm. But he's so talented. He's so good. And now he's coming into his own. Look at him. He's like chiseled now.
Yeah.
He's not a skinny.
He doesn't look like a young kid anymore.
No, he doesn't.
He's reaching
and
his
he
prime.
Is young. How old is he? He's like 24 or 25?
I think
he's young.
He's around that, 25 probably.
He's super young. He's got a huge career ahead of him.
His winning streak is ridiculous. He's already like on track to becoming an all-time greatest featherweight already.
Yeah.
Just by beating he destroyed Jeremy Stevens, Cub Swanson.
Right.
It's Charles Oliveira, Pettis. It's like,
I'm okay with the fact that Jose Aldo took the fight, but I can't even think of who else would jump in other than Jose Aldo. But I'm really not like super looking forward to this fight. I really was looking.
Yeah. Frankie, right?
Frankie.
Yeah.
Because
hopefully
he's got a style. I'm just wondering how it works against Holloway. Mm-hmm. Frankie's got this strange style. Like Jose Aldo could beat him 5 times, but what if he gives Holloway a better?
I think that's like one of those weird situations where Frankie might not be able to beat Aldo, ever, but he has a style to beat Holloway.
Yeah, he might. That's what I want to see. Let's jump on to Overeem and Ngannou. Now, Ngannou's supposed to be Dana White's new pick.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because he's failed horribly on the picks.
Picking guys before, right? But they're investing
Sage
in
Northcutt. But Sage is, he's learning the MMA game.
This is his biggest test. He knocked out Arlovsky, which is a good win.
Yeah.
Even though you could say what you want about Arlovsky's chin, but it's still a good win. And this one is still like it's a huge name. If he wins, it's winnable. They're just I think they really want him to be the face of the heavyweight division. He's just that. He has that heavyweight champion look, Like Stipe is knocking guys out first round, 3 fights in a row, I think. But it's just not clicking. You watch him fight, and then you don't hear from him in months.
He hasn't fought for such a long time.
Yeah, and it feels like that. He just goes away. He's like not in the news anywhere.
Nothing.
But this guy, like, I feel like they're gonna promote him. They're gonna put him out there. They're gonna put like sponsors all over him, put him in commercials, and promote him as like this beast, like this scary guy.
I think
he's got the look. He's got everything. He's got ever since they cut his like braids off. Like, they gave him this cool haircut a while ago, and he's just...
Let's see. I just don't know, let's see how he does against the next row of competition.
Yeah, and this is definitely...
Overeem is awesome, no doubt about it. But he's been hit or miss as of late. Mm-hmm. He was on a rampage at a certain point in his life. But obviously, we know why he was rampaging.
Yeah. And he went on a pretty good streak recently, too.
Yeah.
But...
I just don't know. Let's see. I don't want to speak too early about Ngannou, but I think he's still got to put in some time.
His reach is crazy, 83 inches.
I mean, his next fight will probably be Verdum.
Who's? Francis?
Yeah.
Oh, I think Francis will get the title shot right away. If he wins this, yeah, 100%. I think if he wins, he beat number one.
I'm sure Verdum will have something to say about that.
I don't know. I think they want to rush him into that Stipe fight.
Okay.
And
we'll see. I mean, listen, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but it's a huge possibility that, I mean, he is number 4. It's not like he's number 2 or number 1.
Yeah.
He might have a fight in between.
We'll see what happens. I think he actually wins this, too. It's crazy, their record. It's 43-15 versus 10-1. You only see that in MMA. And it's a close fight, and he's probably the favorite.
Well, Alistair is an OG.
Yeah, and way more than that record with all his kickboxing fights. Yeah, I just think he gets tagged in every fight.
I give it to Ngannou just because of, the streak he's been on, the support that he has from the company.
Yeah, he's confident.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I know Overeem is a great fighter. I give it to Ngannou.
Overeem almost got put out by Verdum in his last fight in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
So I think, he's going to get hit hard at least once in every fight, and I don't think he's going to be able to recover after getting dropped by Ngannou. He's not going to be able to, even if he's winning the first 2 rounds, Ngannou only needs to land one big shot, and Overeem's done. Because Ngannou is, young. He's only fought 11 times. His chin has got to be good.
Strong, yeah. Yeah, age makes a huge difference here. I give it to Ngannou for many of those things, But yeah, we have to still see it. It's not. I don't say that. I mean, listen. I thought the Madison Square Garden. I was sure that these 3 fights were gonna go my way, but it didn't.
And heavyweights are even more unpredictable. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Overeem takes it to the ground. His jiu-jitsu is pretty good for a kickboxer.
Why, does Ngannou not have a ground game?
It's just that we haven't seen it.
Okay.
So, and Overeem has a really underrated jiu-jitsu. He has a lot of submissions, guillotines.
I remember he was guillotining everyone in Pride.
So that would be interesting for him to take it to the ground.
He was guillotining everyone, and he actually caught Shogun in one too. Mm-hmm. But Shogun got out of it and ended up winning the fight.
By KO, right?
I think it was KO. It was such a long time ago. I can't say, for sure. But yeah, I mean, Shogun was the best fighter I've ever seen. He was the modern fighter back then. Mm-hmm. Today's modern fighter was Shogun. Ever since he fought, what was his name? Gary something. He was a wrestler. He was a total New York mook. I forgot his name. Anyway, he fought him. He broke his arm.
When Shogun broke his arm?
Yes.
That was against Mark Coleman or something?
You're right. Yeah. It is Mark Coleman.
That was bad, Gary. Too. That was a really bad.
He never came back the same guy.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
Defending a takedown, right? He extended his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even the post-fight, after it happened, it was it got so chaotic in the ring.
His bone was sticking out.
Yeah.
It was a horror. It did something to him. He was not the same fighter. To me, Shogun was my favorite fighter of all time. Even when he came to UFC, I was like, he's going to destroy these guys. Mm-hmm. And then he just... He took him a while to come back.
Yeah, he won the belt.
Yeah, but still, it wasn't him. It wasn't that Shogun. Mm-hmm. Watch some Shogun fights. Pride.
When he was in his 20s.
Oh, man. What a fighter, man.
Because he was John Jones before John Jones, right?
He was John Jones before John Jones.
He was the 21-year-old, killing guys.
Exactly. Killing. He could kill you everywhere. grappling, knockouts. His Muay Thai was sick, and that was the time where people started getting convinced that Muay Thai is the stand-up technique to use.
Okay.
Because the guy is King's MMA now, but he was training all these guys.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
They were called
Cordero.
shooter box
Yeah.
back then.
Mm-hmm.
All these badass Brazilians with, the sick Muay Thai came from there, from shooter box. Anderson Silva, Vanderlei Silva, some killers. He even had a brother named Ninja.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He fought. He wasn't as good as the rest of these guys, but he was, for the time, he was, decent gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Man, Shogun. What a tragedy. What a tragedy. It's like the greatest fighter, and then one thing happens, and then he's just never came back the same. His body never looked the same. Everything, the definition on his body, the tone. Like,
yeah.
He never trained the same way. He didn't. Everything was different.
He's never been in like crazy shape in the UFC even.
No. Cejudo and Pettis. I think this is a mismatch.
It's the only match really, though. Because it's tough.
I think it's something for Cejudo to feel good about himself if he wants to fight Johnson again.
Yeah. This is a #1 contender fight, but probably not because they want to do that TJ fight.
All right.
And hopefully they do.
I just haven't been impressed by Pettis.
He hasn't put on that like performance where you're like, wow, this guy could be. Even Cejudo bounced back, knocking out Wilson Hayes. It's like this guy might have a shot against DJ.
Yeah.
At least you thought about it. But with Sergio, it's like even though he won 5 rounds against that Moreno kid, or 4 rounds, it was like, well, he's not going to be able to do that.
I think Cejudo, right now, in my mind, is the only guy that could come close to Demetrius Johnson. Even though he got brutally knocked out and pretty early in their first fight.
Yeah.
I think he's too young of a fighter, too inexperienced to be ready for that sort of competition at that time in his career. I agree
that he could beat him. Because
I'm not saying that he could beat him. I'm just saying
closest.
He could give him a fight. Mm-hmm. Listen, the guy who won the Ultimate Fighter gave Dimitri a fight.
Yeah.
Some may argue that he did so well because he's so unorthodox. He's so weird of a fighter.
Yeah, tough to deal with.
Yeah. I just think it's a mismatch, even though one has 16-2 and the other one has 11-2. It's strange. I'm saying,
but Cejudo's improving like crazy.
Yeah, I just think he's a bit much for Sergio. I hope Sergio can prove me wrong. I've been wrong before, but I just think right now I think Cejudo's too much for him.
He's gonna have the striking edge, but I still think.
I don't think he has necessarily a striking edge.
He has the credentials, like with his Taekwondo black belt, and he's the wrestler.
He's got the leg edge.
Yeah.
With the leg kicks. Yes. The kicks. Now, for the main card, the one I'm looking forward to is Alvarez and Gaethje.
Yeah, this fight.
How do you pronounce Gaethje?
You got it. Yeah, you're saying
that's
right.
the way? Because it sounds like Gaethje.
It's spelled like that, yeah. This fight, I wish it was headlining the tough finale, because then it would be 5 rounds.
I thought they were going to be on the tough finale.
I think this card needed a fight, like for its pay-per-view, because I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people who are buying this are getting it for this.
I'm looking forward to, because I like the stories of these guys coming. They're relatively unknowns, and telling the world that, UFC doesn't raise the best fighters. Yeah, I'm right here.
Both these guys are top lightweights from another promotion.
Yeah, and
brawlers too.
It would just be a good story. I still have to spend more time with Gaethje, but I kind of Gaethje. I would have to spend a little more time observing this guy, but I think I believe him.
If he wins this fight, that's insane.
Yeah.
Because the way he fights is so high risk, and to be 18-0, 19-0.
I believe the guy.
insane.
I think that's him. I think he's a firecracker like that.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to see the story build. It'll be interesting.
This is another number one contender fight.
Yeah,
called out the winner.
I'm going for Gaethje. Gaethje. I'm going for him. You too?
I think he's gonna win too. Yeah.
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 Okay.
And I don't think. Yeah, because Eddie,
it's a possibility. Eddie's 20.
He's way more experienced.
Yeah,
he's been there,
got 30
done that.
fights, but 18-0 is no slouch.
This isn't gonna be anything he hasn't seen before. This could be like a Michael Chandler, Eddie Alvarez type of fight. You know. It's gonna be like the best fight on the card. They might as well give him the check right now.
So Torres and Watterson. Okay.
This is a pretty good fight.
I think it's a great matchup. You know,
It
who's
is.
moving forward. Watterson, Karate Hottie.
They fight really
She
similarly.
got knocked out by or
Rose.
choked out.
Basically knocked out.
Knocked
and then
out,
choked
right?
Out. No, choked out after she got dropped badly.
Okay, yeah. By the current champ, Rose.
Rose.
And she was doing really well up until then. You know,
That was the number one contender.
I think these two are in a good place together, as in like it's a good matchup. I think it's perfect. They're the right matchup for each other.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna give it to Watterson. I think
too.
Watterson can take it. I think Torres, because of her body style, like that, you know, over jacked, kind of slows her down a little bit.
She has a lot of muscle. So.
She has too much muscle, and with that muscle, I think she doesn't move primarily for MMA.
She fights like a Muay Thai, like kickboxer, you know, like really.
I mean,
heavy on
I
her feet.
believe in CrossFit, you know, for fighters,
Uh-huh.
but you can't be more CrossFit than MMA.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And I think she's just too jacked. I think she should change her, you know, training up altogether. I mean, it could be that she's just built like that.
It could be because you see it in the top, like with the women's divisions.
Yeah.
They're not jacked. You know, Rose,
No.
Joanna.
No.
They're just really in shape, and they
Yeah.
have great cardio. They're really good at moving.
If you're utilizing the martial art, you know, you gotta be, what do you call it, limber.
Yeah.
You gotta be
Flexible.
explosive. You gotta have great hips. You know, you gotta be able to move. That's mostly the martial art technique. You know, so if you have too much muscle, it's requiring more
Extra,
oxygen.
yeah.
If you have too much muscle, it's slowing you down. I mean, I like Torres. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to put her down in any way. I think she's awesome, and she's a great person, and I really respect, you know, how far she has come in the sport. It's just I would recommend to her as a coach. I don't know. Does she CrossFit? Because she looks like a CrossFitter.
I have
Have
no
you ever
idea.
watched CrossFit games?
Yeah.
You see how the chicks are?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
look just like her.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's too stiff. Too stiff. But let's see. I'm giving it to Watterson.
Me too.
Let's go to
Agree
the
with that.
prelims. Now, this was supposed to be my favorite fight
On the card.
on the whole card, actually. It was going to be Paul Felder, great guy, great competitor.
Commentator now for the UFC. He did a.
Yeah, he's been commentating at CFFC. He's been doing a lot of stuff, you know. He's kind of destined to be the next. Man, I forgot his name. The commentator who just quit.
In the UFC.
Yeah,
Kenny
the
Florian?
Marine.
Oh, Brian Stan.
Yeah, Brian Stan.
Brian Stan.
He is Brian Stan. Like he's the next Brian Stan. Do you get what I'm saying?
I
Like
kinda, yeah.
he's gonna fill that hole. He's getting better. He has experience. He has everything he needs. He's got the look. He's this like chiseled, you know, guy, like chiseled out of stone look. I I see good things for him, even if he's not.
I don't think anyone could beat Brian Stann though with the chiseled out of stone, like Superman look.
Yeah, but that dude is pretty chiseled right there.
Brian Stann has like that.
Charles Oliveira and him are still a great fight.
It is
still a great fight,
really
but it was supposed to be him versus
Iaquinta.
Iaquinta.
There would have been like some bad blood in there just for like no reason. I feel like they would have just gotten heated for just out of competitively.
I don't know about that because they're related.
By how so?
Well, Paul Felder is what do you call it? Renzo Gracie, Philly. He was he's mentored by Daniel Gracie. I hope that's still the case because all I see him doing now is putting pictures and video of Rufus Sport.
Yeah, he's been there for a while. I think his whole UFC career. Rufus Sport. His whole like UFC career and all his fights in the UFC.
But he was mentored by Daniel Gracie.
Okay.
And he was doing great. I don't know if he left Daniel Gracie or he just likes the competition. He is a stand-up guy, and Rufus is a stand-up guy, you know? Rufus knows more than stand-up, but, you know, his strength comes in the Muay Thai, in the kickboxing. So maybe he enjoys it. I don't know if he just, like, totally left, but I'm thinking that if he is still Renzo Gracie Philly, then Matt Serra is a Renzo Gracie black belt. So there's got to be some sort of family connection here.
It's likely because they're both Northeast guys, so they're likely to be training with some of the same people.
You know, so Matt Serra would be in the corner and Ray Longo of Iaquinta, and he would have Daniel Gracie and what do you call it?
Duke Rufus.
Duke Rufus. So, you know, the fight didn't go through. I mean,
it's a good replacement.
Yeah, it is. I know that Iaquinta got hurt, but I read something. I don't remember where. Was it bloody elbow? Whatever it was. I have no idea. I read something, and it almost was revealing to a sense where he's like, I only had 2 months or less than 2 months to train for Paul Felder. And he's like, Paul Felder is no joke.
Yeah.
I need a full camp for a guy like him.
Iaquinta seems really like aware of like the dangers of what could happen, injuries, and fighting a dangerous guy.
Yeah.
He definitely doesn't come off like a guy who's hunting for a UFC belt. He kind of just seems like a guy who loves fighting and he'll take a paycheck every now and then.
Yeah.
He'll enjoy it. He's not doing it just for the paycheck. He wants to fight as well.
Right.
But he's not a guy who's like, let me fight number 10, let me fight number 6, let me fight number 4, and let me fight for the title.
Right now, it almost seems like he's using UFC to blow up his real estate career.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's all power to him, but
yeah.
He's not going to take fights because he needs to. He's going to take a fight because he wants to. He could use the paycheck.
A New York brawler against a Philly. I guess I wouldn't call Felder a brawler, but a Philly, you know, bad boy himself.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's Philly versus New York. These are some tough dudes.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah. Felder seems, you know, I'm not saying seems, but he is a little more, you know, well-spoken.
Yeah, that's why they put him in the commentary. You can't put Al on commentary.
Yeah. And Iaquinta seems a little more, you know, New York street.
Yeah.
But they're both yet great entertaining fighters.
Very.
Both of them.
He put up a good fight against Edson Barboza.
Yeah, and they'll both brawl.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, even though Paul Felder's more of like a, you know, Muay Thai kicking after his punches, you know, and he'll brawl. He'll get in there and he'll brawl. He'll fight. He's hard on himself. You know, some of these fights that he lost, I don't think he even got knocked out ever. Did he?
I don't think so. I think he won one of the fights he lost because it was a really bad cut on his eyebrow. Right. It was like one of the worst cuts.
Like, he goes against the best, and he comes up short sometimes. Yeah. But it's not. Nobody has ever really
Write him off.
Like beat him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He can really hold his own. That was going to be my favorite fight of the whole card. That was the fight that I wanted to watch. It's not happening, but Charles Oliveira is no slouch either.
No, you got to always worry about him.
I'll tell you something. I don't know much about Paul Felder in that respect, but for the little that I have seen, he might be lacking in the jiu-jitsu department. Not that he doesn't know jiu-jitsu. I'm just saying Oliveira's up there with some of the best jiu-jitsu guys in MMA.
Yeah.
He might be second or third. He's that good.
With straight up jiu-jitsu, yeah.
Yeah. For MMA.
With
Jiu-jitsu for MMA. He's done some intense stuff, this guy.
Yeah.
His jiu-jitsu is like one of the best in MMA. So this is going to be also a great fight. It's just not going to be the exciting brawl that I was hoping for. Yeah.
This might be a brawl, though, the next fight.
That's going to be a great fight. I mean, I almost like the undercard better than
it's a good card.
Main card. Oliveira, Cowboy Oliveira, is awesome.
He knocked out Ryan LaFleur. That was surprising.
He's knocked out a lot of guys.
That was surprising to me, though. He flattened him.
Yeah. And he's a great guy. You know, I've been in the back with him when I've had some fighter in the UFC. I've been there. He's always happy. He's got the cowboy hat on. He's nice. He always says hello. Great dude.
He looks like a guy who would not say hello, though.
No.
He looks like such an angry guy.
You know, that's just his skin. You know?
Yeah.
He just has that sort of skin, but he's a really nice guy.
He has that face like that guy you would see.
He's scary. He's almost scary, but he's not. He's an awesome dude.
Yeah.
You know, he's a nice guy. But Brazilians are like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're tough looking, especially the ones that come from the favelas, which is the ghettos. But, you know, they're nice guys, man. Brazilians enjoy a good time, always.
And then we got Medeiros from Hawaii.
Love this guy.
Him and Holloway on the same card.
Do you know this guy's story? He was like fucking 200 pounds.
Yeah. And it's crazy because he doesn't look like, usually you could tell like when a guy was like really heavy.
Yeah. He even made it to 55. Oh, look, it says 55. I think they're fighting at 70 now.
I think they are.
He made it all the way down to 155.
Because he fought Eric Silva at 70 recently.
Yeah.
He knocked out Eric Silva too.
Okay, maybe he felt that 55 was too much of a strain for him. Great fighter. Great fighter.
Yeah.
This guy can fight. I'm talking stand-up, and he has jiu-jitsu. He's not your wrestler guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not going to be super great at taking down high-level wrestlers, but he can jits.
He's got a good body for fighting. He's tall, lanky.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of a vicious Pettis in his prime.
Mm.
Like, Pettis wasn't vicious.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't, especially like recently.
Right, and I'm not saying this guy does these, you know, flying
off the cage. Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. What I mean is he's got the package of jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, and he can use it, but he's a little vicious. And Pettis, I don't think, was ever vicious. I think he was a show boy, you know?
Yeah, Showtime.
Yeah, that's why they called him Showtime. It's a hard pick, man. This is gonna be a tough fight.
Because they're both looking so good.
They both are. I just think, I'm just applying my eye. I'm just thinking, Medeiros, Yancy, I just like his style.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with just purely off of style. I enjoy his style. I enjoy how he fights. So I'm going to give it to him. But yet, I'm not saying, definitely this is...
For sure, because he's been rocked before pretty badly against Trinaldo, against Poirier, but those were at 155, so he was draining himself.
Yeah.
And we know Oliveira has knockout power from anywhere, like short punches.
Yeah, I love that Oliveira. I think he's great. So I don't know. I'm just gonna give it to Yancy because I just like his style. But Oliveira could take this fight easy too.
Yeah.
You know, so
devastated.
I can't sit here and be like, or I wouldn't even bet money on this fight. Like I wouldn't.
Yeah, this isn't a safe fight.
Yeah, it's definitely not a safe fight. I think either of them could win. I just like Yancey. I like Oliveira too. I just like Yancey. And then the next two, I really don't know. I mean,
yeah, I know of these guys, but I don't know enough to really like David Timur. He comes out of that Sweden team with Gustafsson. He put up a good fight his last fight.
Yeah.
And then this guy Drakkar Klose, he beat, you know, that English dude with the red mohawk who's been looking really good. I forgot his name, but
sounds familiar.
they're both coming off good wins against prospects.
Okay.
Who are like really hot, and they both kind of like shut the party down.
Okay. Cool.
And now they're the guys.
Okay.
So
this guy from Sweden, he looks. I mean, you got to understand, not a lot of guys are coming out from these countries of Europe.
Yeah, not recently.
So if he comes from, what did you say? Whose camp?
The All-Stars, the Gustafson's
Latifi, camp?
Yeah.
That means he must be good.
Uh-huh.
He must be one of their top guys. He made it into the UFC. I mean,
he was on the Ultimate Fighter. I just remembered he was on Team
yeah?
McGregor, for the international against
really?
Uriah.
I don't remember him.
Yeah.
Can you? Yeah, it's okay. No, I see him. Okay. Oh, I think I know who this is. Is this the? This is like the guy who has like a few championships in Muay Thai, right?
Yeah.
That's the guy. Okay, yeah. He's so lacking in the grappling department.
Mm-hmm.
His striking doesn't come out because he's so worried about getting taken down.
I remember who he beat. He beat Lando.
Yeah.
That's the fight he's coming off. Lando Venata.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I don't know
that's a
who
good one.
Drakkar Klose is.
He's a wrestler with some good hands.
And just looking at his body, yeah, he's a grappler. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy he's not gonna be able to like stop him. Just unless he's worked for the last few years on wrestling. I mean, I just don't see it. He's had so much trouble with grapplers.
And this is definitely a wrestler.
Yeah, he's a great striker, but he can't use his striking because he's so afraid of getting taken down.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't be a great striker in that case.
And that's probably why he did so good in his last fight, because Lando wasn't going to take him down.
Yeah.
He was just going to brawl with him.
I don't know enough about Drakkar to call this fight, but if he's a wrestler, and you're saying he is, and I believe you, I give it to Drakkar.
I think he's going to win, too.
Drakkar Noir.
It's a cool name.
That was old cologne. You probably never heard of it. When I was your age.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Let's see. Herrig.
Rest of the fights, like
Herring.
I obviously know Herrig, and then I've seen this girl fight, but I don't know enough to really predict anything here. And with the Fight Pass prelims,
She is like a UFC vet now, you know? Herrig.
Mhm.
Herrig. And I just don't know. I just don't know if she's like the girl to climb. Courtney Casey. I don't know. It's hard to call. Herrig does have a lot of experience. Don't know enough about Casey to make a great judgment, but it'll still be interesting to watch. Now the undercard, I know no one. You know, all I know is this guy right here.
Yeah, he has that really fast knockout.
Jeremy Kimball, the lumberjack.
It's a perfect name for him.
He's Amish, you know.
He looks like it. I wouldn't be surprised if he just
He was on that TV show, The Amish Mafia.
And then he just decided to be a UFC fighter, and he trains out of there.
I'm joking, guys. That's not really the case. I just wanted to bring him up because he's just funny looking like that.
He should run
Williams
with
and
that.
Crowder. I know who Crowder is.
He must be coming off that show, the Dana White show.
He is from North Carolina.
He's Gracie Jiu-Jitsu because of that tattoo.
Now he is. He wasn't then. He was.
Well,
he was like a football star.
Okay, I didn't know that. He looks like it though. He has that look.
Not like NFL, but like
College?
You know, I don't know about college, like high school maybe. Okay. He was like a local guy, football. He said he can do this. He sucked. He really sucked badly, you know, in the past. But he just kept getting better and better. I'm not saying he sucked like horribly, but he had tons of holes in his game. But he had a physique, you know.
Yeah. It's funny how he's like wearing basketball shorts in that picture. He looks like such like a athlete who's just probably pretty good at fighting.
It's funny, you know, he fought a guy that looked like his opponent. He was beating him and then got knocked out at Ring of Combat.
Okay.
He fought on some shows that I was familiar with. That's why I know him, you know. That's why the picture here is black and white. I think this is his first fight.
Yeah, he was on that show, the Dana White Contender Series.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yeah, that's why he got into the UFC.
9-2 is his. So he's got some experience under his belt. You know, he just didn't have it yet put together. He went to the pros before he could really fight.
Got rushed in there.
Yeah. It's tough. The competition in North Carolina was not that good. They kind of looked like early days of UFC guys, you know?
And he would probably do good there just by his physique.
Yeah.
He was probably out-muscling guys, destroying guys.
Let's see if he really put in the time and learned the technique and really understood everything. I know Crowder. I mean, he's a nice guy, you know? And he's just like... There was this fight that he lost to a guy that looked like his opponent, like really fat. You know, who was beating him, and he tired himself out by punching him. You know, and I'm kind of like, I like the guy, so I'm screaming, go to the body, because the guy's like this, you know, and he's punching him, but the guy could take punches. And I'm like, go to the body. I mean, can you imagine a gut like that? Yeah. You hit someone like that with that guy's size and power, like in the liver or like in the sternum. I mean, you really start to beat him up. He didn't go to the body, and he just didn't have that technique in him. You know what I mean? He could fight. He wanted to fight, but he didn't have. Let's see how he does. I'm gonna watch that fight. Anyway, that's it. Anything else coming up? Have you been abducted by aliens?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Thankfully. I think GSP is the only guy who has been. And we're all just laughing at him, but he's actually seen it.
Speaking about abducted by aliens, when is our boy fighting?
I think January.
January?
Yeah, he wants to, as soon as he can next year. First pro fight.
Okay.
The Black Wolf.
The Black Wolf. Interesting. When did he become the Black Wolf?
He's been wanting to do that. I remember when he first asked me like, how does it sound? And I used to tell him like, I like Nasty Nas. Like it rolls off the tongue. It'll be so natural. Like Nasty Nas, like Shogun Hua. It sounds like your name, you know.
Right.
People don't even know it's your nickname. They just say it naturally.
Right.
But now I'm into it, I guess. Yeah. Cause
how about the narcissistic wolf?
I think that's gonna be like a insider nickname. But yeah, I like it now, Black Wolf.
Black Wolf?
Yeah, he's gonna have hats made and everything. But he's been wanting to make that his nickname for a while now, a few years. Yeah. And now it's official.
The Black Hand. Anyway, our narcissistic brother is getting ready for his first pro fight.
Yeah. Maybe he'll be here next week, though. I don't know how much he's staying in K Dojo, but maybe next week.
Okay.
And plus, break's coming, so we might come by any other day now, too.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Because winter break, we might come by a different day, whenever we could.
Do some cool recordings about TV shows.
Yeah. Black Mirror.
Did you
expect that? We love that show. Teasing.
What else? Black Mirror, but what else? Any movies? Did you see any movies lately?
I haven't been to the movies in
I'm gonna make a little thing. I'm gonna say some things about Justice League.
Oh, you seen it?
Yeah.
I heard it wasn't that good.
That's what
it's funny. Just in the car driving here, I heard about the whole mustache CGI thing. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, but
Did it look stupid?
People have nothing better to pay attention to.
Did it look bad though? I
Hardly
think people
even.
are overhyping it.
Hardly even notice it.
It's a funny story, but you can't notice it unless you know.
Hardly even notice it, you know?
It's funny though, the whole situation, how he didn't want him to shave it because he was playing in
Yeah.
James Bond or something.
Is it James Bond?
No, I think Mission Impossible. Yeah, that's hilarious though.
That's the movie.
CGI mustache.
I just want to talk about that.
Okay.
And hopefully you'll cut it up.
Yeah,
All right?
we can do that.
Because I'm sick. I'm sick.
I got over superhero movies when the first Avengers came out. I wasn't
I'll
into it.
never get over it. I'll be 80 watching superhero movies. I'll never get over it. Listen, people, stop being crybaby mama boys, all right? You know what's going on in our society? Now, did you watch Thor by any chance?
No.
No?
No.
Now, I watched Thor too. Everyone's saying it's the greatest film ever when it comes to superhero movies. It's amazing. This is how superhero movies should be. Great, this, that, this. I watched both of them, and I expected it to be true for the most part, but it never is. You know what has happened to this society? These crybaby, entitled little bitch children who can't handle much, okay? Hate on the DC universe because it's dark.
Okay, I get what you're saying now.
Because it's a movie. Do
I
you
don't know where
understand?
you were going with it, but I kind of get it now. Because people just talk shit about it because it's not Marvel now.
It's because it's not Marvel, you know? And enough people say it, and that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
The movie gives you a little more feeling, you know? And what happened here is, yes, it's not a perfect movie, but it could have been. Because I really liked Batman versus Superman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I liked the movie. People didn't like it because it was too dark. It was too much. Now, the original guy who was directing this, he had problems. So they brought in this guy, Whedon, who did the Avengers films.
Okay.
So he took a dark, made-for-film movie and turned it into a puppet showcase, like the Avengers movies, you know? Listen, I'm not saying Avengers suck. That's not what I'm saying. It's a different vision, you know?
I remember thinking it sucked when I saw it, the first one. I don't know. I just totally got out of the superhero thing.
I mean, listen, they're not perfect movies either, all right? I just like the dark side of movies. I like Batman.
Yeah, me too. I like those movies were awesome.
Yeah, those movies were awesome. And this thing is a little different than Nolan's Batman, but still, it's kind of got a darker feel. It has a more philosophical theme rather than, you know, fanboy theme.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry. I heard this. I can't remember where I heard this. I read it somewhere. You know, what we have is a society, right, where pansy mama's boys determine how warriors should be.
Okay, I get what you're saying now.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And our warriors have no more brain. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There's
a little bit.
There's no more philosophical aspect to our warriors. They're all just knuckleheads now. Not all, but most of the time. If you want a better society, turn your scholars into warriors and turn your warriors into scholars. That's the key. Now these grass-fed, organic food mama's boys are telling us, the world, how movies should be.
Yeah, because everyone has a voice now.
I want a little darkness in my movies. Mm-hmm. I want a little feeling, you know? I want a little, you know, a little bit of things that I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't have to understand everything I see in a movie, but I know that there is some sort of philosophical tug on it, and I'm going to learn about it, whether through watching YouTube clips, maybe read something, and then put some things together. It's okay. I'm okay with that. Not everything has to make sense. They fucked this movie up. Not that it's a bad movie. I think it's a good movie. I think it's better than Thor. It's just they fucked this movie up by bringing in a mama's boy to take over a project that was done by a deep thinker. Mm-hmm. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't
switched up the vibe.
It's almost like you're taking Da Vinci's work and having modern artists take over.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just doesn't mix. That's where they messed up. I want, when the DVD comes out, for them to say, this is the version that we showed you, Whedon's version, and this is the version that I'm forgetting the guy's name.
I get what you're saying, though. Yeah.
Okay, this is the full version without the deleted scene, with the deleted scenes in it.
Yeah.
I want to see it. You little mama's boys, shut the fuck up, you know, and stop walking around with your pussies hanging over your head. I don't want to hear your crap anymore.
I haven't seen the movie.
The Justice League was a better movie than the Avengers, only because I know where it was trying to go, and your boy Whedon just fucked it up. All right, I don't need that much comedy in my serious movies. Enough. I need this world to change. I need for you fucking pansies to wake up and start being men.
You know what isn't the pansy show?
Who are you to decide what a great movie is? I grew up on movies like Godfather, you know, Scarface, Pulp Fiction, whatever. I mean, there's tons,
yeah,
you know?
I've seen those.
Tons of movies. You know, if you're talking about horror, you know, watch Exorcist. I don't give a shit about these zombies running around like it's a fucking horror movie. You guys don't know anything about movies. You don't understand anything about cinematography. You guys are pussies. That's all I have to say. I'm just a little mad. Cursing out the world. Fuck y'all, okay? DC Universe is much better than your Marvel Universe. Not to say that I don't look forward to the Marvel.
Still watch it.
I still watch it. I still enjoy it. I'm looking forward right now to Black Panther and Return of the Jedi. I mean, not Return of the Jedi. The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Which is Star Wars. I can't wait for that.
You gotta watch Black Mirror so we can talk about that. Because me and Nas are already balls deep in that.
Yeah, I'll get to it.
It's a crazy
right now,
show.
I'm finishing up season 3 of what do you call it? Narcos.
Okay. So you and Nas could talk about that because that's his shit. Like real stuff.
I like it, but it still, they have no character. Mm-hmm. They're missing the character.
I thought Pablo Escobar was like really good. Like his...
That was the character in the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
The 3rd season is about the Cali cartel.
Oh, okay.
There is no character.
I didn't watch. So.
I hear that they're going to do the next one about Chapo, like season 4, El Chapo.
I got to get on
He's
that
a character from what I understand.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I want to see. But I don't know if he's a character like, you know, Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of like Escobar's the leader. Of all these guys, you know, everyone's just following in his footsteps. He did what nobody else did.
Yeah.
That is that.
Mm-hmm.
Pussy little bitches. Like you even know what a fucking good movie is.
I'm definitely going to make that into a segment. I hope we have people in the comments coming after you, and you could reply to them.
I'll reply to them. I will fucking reply. I watch these videos about Star Wars, like guys who talk about Star Wars.
Yeah.
And there's such pussy little bastards out there who don't know dick about dick. They never lived anything in their lives. They've never traveled, you know.
Yeah.
There's so many like little bitch there's some really good guys out there who are really intelligent.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
love watching them, you know. Trying to remember. New Rock Stars. I like watching that guy.
I never heard of it.
There's another guy. I forgot what the name of his feed is. But anyway, there's some good guys. But there's some guys I watch. They think they know everything. They don't know dick. There's this one guy who's promoting Tai Chi. He's like as if though Tai Chi's gonna save him in a fucking fight. You're talking about, you know, Star Wars and Return of the Jedi and all this stuff. You don't know dick about martial arts.
Tai Chi.
Yeah, and you got
That's
another guy who he looks totally like some kid like doing it out of the basement. He's got a dartboard behind him. He calls himself, I don't even want to promote this guy.
No, don't call him out.
Something nothing is what I'll say. All right. And he is a fucking fraud. He'll put something out there. I just found out who this guy is. You listen to it and he's like, well, someone's mother, sister, dog's brother's friend who stumbled across a guy's brother, sister's friend's uncle, sister, who doesn't know dick about anything, who speculates that this is, and he reels you in just so he could
That's all over YouTube.
Yeah, but, you know, some guys will write something and be like, this is my theory.
Yeah.
And they'll give a good explanation to it. I'm okay with that. I love to theorize. That's what brainstorming is about. But these little pansy bitches who don't know dick about dick, living out of their mom's basements, recording their YouTube channel and, you know, trolling and reeling people in just to get a couple of hits, you know? Fuck them.
Yeah. We're not in a mom's basement. We are on the second floor.
Of a real fucking facility.
Yeah, with some Georgians next door.
That's right.
About to...
Screaming all day long. About what? I have no idea.
Who knows?
All right. Anything?
No, I think we're good.
Let's get the flock out of here.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Next week.
See ya.
Peace. Later.